The sword you're allowed to lift. On help freely offered. Power respectfully asked for. And the quiet cost of doing everything the hard way. Dream retelling. I'm inside a large house that doesn't feel like home. There's an unspoken understanding that I belong to it, or to the people who own it. Not violently, not overtly cruelly, but in that quiet, heavy way where labor is expected and choice feels limited. I might be part of the help. I might be owned. The distinction feels blurry, and maybe that's the point. The lady of the house is standing near a billiards table, holding a wooden corner piece. It's an odd accessory meant to sink down into the table's middle. Technically, it belongs to the set, but she's clearly decided it's unnecessary, superfluous. She's considering throwing it away. I find myself playfully arguing for keeping it. You never know, I suggest lightly. Sometimes the thing you don't think you need turns out to matter later. This strikes me as strange because in my waking life, I'm anything but a hoarder. I value simplicity, yet here I am defending the usefulness of an extra piece, something optional, something easily dismissed. As this happens, part of my awareness is elsewhere. I'm watching for another group, people who have used our strength before. They're coming back around the corner, waiting for us to help again. They're counting on my muscle this time. There's also this scene of a sword connected to a powerful stone, something associated with the Sorcerer Supreme. A tool that could make things move faster, more efficiently, if it were used. Then they appear. They're pushing a wheelbarrow, but what's balanced on it is absurd. A bag the size of an entire room. It's bulging, teetering, barely stable. As they struggle forward, Christmas presents begin spilling out. Boxes sliding, tumbling, threatening to scatter everywhere. I rush in, grabbing the gifts as they fall, catching them mid-drop. I can help, I say, half offering, half stating the obvious. As I do, I sense a familiar presence nearby. Dr. Strange. I grab hold of a black plastic sword, something associated with his group, and lift into the air, flying toward him. We meet midway, suspended between where I was and where the work still waits to be done. He looks at me skeptically. There's a trace of cynicism in his voice as he questions my eagerness, as if he's wondering whether I expect him to simply wave his hands and solve everything for me. I respond calmly, firmly. I would never presume on your power, I tell him, or on the power of the Sorcerer Supreme, or the power behind either of you. Then I pause and add, but if this is a matter of not asking, or asking too little, then maybe that's different. I remind him that I've seen the Infinity Stones restore entire universes, though not without cost. A burned arm, a heavy price paid. Still, the implication hangs in the air. If that level of power exists, then surely some fraction of it could help with this work. More stones, more power. Fewer stones, less effect. But never nothing. The question lingers as the dream fades. Is it more respectful to struggle unnecessarily, or to ask wisely for help that's already available? Vibration interpretation. This dream speaks directly to a collective frequency that keeps humanity tired. The belief that help must be earned through suffering, and that power, especially sacred or advanced power, should only be used for the big moments. Energetically, the house represents inherited systems where contribution is expected, but empowerment is restricted. The quiet servitude, the waiting, the inefficiency. These are low-frequency patterns rooted in obligation rather than collaboration. The overflowing bag of gifts is telling. Abundance is already here. Resources are not scarce, but they are unstable when no one steps forward to help hold them. When people hesitate, gifts fall. Dr. Strange's presence introduces a higher-order question. Is it arrogant to ask for assistance from greater intelligence, technology, or consciousness? Or is it arrogant not to? On a planetary level, This dream suggests that raising the vibration isn't about working harder. It's about working together across levels of power. Human effort, collective willingness, and higher intelligence are meant to be integrated, not siloed. When help is available and unrequested, energy stagnates. When help is requested respectfully and shared willingly, efficiency itself becomes a vibrational upgrade. DJ Dreamy Spin? What stayed with me most was the sense that some of the people around me were unwilling to help, not because they couldn't, but because they were waiting for permission, waiting for tradition, waiting for things to get done the slow way simply because that's how they've always been done. It made me wonder if raising the vibration of the planet is actually very practical. Maybe it's as simple and as challenging as being willing to help when help is needed, without posturing or martyrdom, and also being willing to ask without shame when help is clearly available. The dream seems to question whether we sometimes spiritualize restraint too much, whether we avoid using powerful tools, technology, energetic or collective, because we don't want to appear presumptuous. But what if the greater presumption is refusing help when the work is too big to do alone? Maybe the vibration is already here. Maybe the tools are already present. And maybe the next step is learning how to ask and offer without fear. Questions to raise your vibration. Where in your life might things be moving slowly? Not because help isn't available, but because it hasn't been asked for or accepted. What forms of power or support do you sense around you that you've hesitated to engage out of humility, habit, or fear of appearing presumptuous?